Yes. Happy Fly Friday, everybody. Welcome. Sharon Cutter Smooth, EP Digital, coming to you once again on another Nanco Aero, Nanco Tech, New Age Nerds Fly Friday 15, where I give you the latest and greatest information on the urban air mobility industry. Flying cars. What's going on with flying cars, essentially, right? So, what's new? We're going to jump right into it today on episode 13. I can't believe it. We've done 13 episodes. If you're just chiming in right now, go back and look at those other episodes to get up to date. Because today, what we are going to talk about is a bit on the industry, the ecosystem, i.e., what do you call it? The suppliers network. Now, to begin with, we noticed that this week EHong demonstrated or displayed their new long-range vehicle. Now, if we could jump ahead to that link, that'll be cool. But EHong presented their newest and latest, greatest model. Now, the goal for it is to be a long-range vehicle. So if you remember EHong, the little drone aspect of it, single passenger, but only had a range of about 30 miles at maximum, which is okay, right? But for regional mobility, didn't really provide the needed range to do that. Now, their latest long-range eVTOL, what did they do? They just added some wings to it. They made it an airplane/drone, put them together. Now you have a long-range urban air vehicle, which is cool. Now, it's new. You can see it in the picture here. We have not seen any maiden flights with it yet. So has it flown is to be determined, and the true distance is to be determined. We will see, but you'll notice that EHong started off urban air mobility, now is going directly for the regional mobility. Traveling city to city is what people really want. Traveling locally, that's fine, and many vehicles can do that. But trying to get from one city, maybe inner city, to way out in the country, or from city to city is what this company is trying to do, as well as we are trying to do, which is where the industry overall wants, right? Now, moving on past that, also what happened this week was Fed Supernova. It was presented by Capital Factory, located in Austin, Texas. We chimed in. I've been to Capital Factory, pretty good facility, pretty good people working there to help startups, especially in the aerospace, develop the needed tools and systems and equipment and weapons for the Department of Defense. And Fed Supernova was an event to pretty much present the latest and greatest in the workings with the Department of Defense. Now, for the most part, it had a lot of good information, but a lot of it was what we heard already. The process of working with the U.S. government is very difficult and daunting, and for a lot of times is unfulfilling and unfruitful. They are putting together some initiatives to work better with startups, especially like us, small startups, but those initiatives have yet to be started. So they're still trying to figure out how to best work with small startups and inventors like I and potentially you. So if you're in the business of looking to start or develop your own urban air vehicle, well, you might be a little bit too small to work with the DoD. They definitely like to work with companies that got a little bit of meat on their bones. They have developed a lot more than just a prototype, But once you get past that, there are a lot of programs to get into in working with the DoD. So some pretty good info. A lot of people are aware of this urban air mobility industry, and it is, undoubtedly something that the Air Force, Army, all of the DoD is actively looking for. So if you got a working prototype, they're ready to work with you. So on to the next segment here of what to know when buying flying cars. Today, I wanted to dive into more of the, what's the name here? The supplier network, the infrastructure, not necessarily the infrastructure, but what is the name here? The suppliers, pretty much, the makers within it. So when you go to buy a flying car, now there's something you might want to look into. Where are the components coming from? So, for example, you guys know Ford. You are aware of Ford Motor Company, as well as the inventor, Ford himself. Well, it wasn't really Ford, but more so the Chrysler brothers, but they worked together to build the Ford Motor Company, and their innovation to the industry was a highly innovative manufacturing process. So that leads to the question, when it comes to building these urban air vehicles, in order to match the price range that we were talking about last week, well, certain manufacturing processes really need to be in play. For example, I have seen a lot of urban air vehicles, a few of them, e-Hong being one of them, are still operating in the traditional manufacturing range or realm. Now, that will essentially increase the cost, or it'll set the initial cost of making those vehicles. But when it comes to actually providing these vehicles to the mass market, a new and innovative methods of production will be needed. For example, I do not see or have not yet seen any other companies implement a production line like the vehicles, ground vehicles. So if you've ever paid attention on how airplanes are made, it's not really a production line, more so a production bay in which people and equipment come to that one space and they build it in one place. Usually airplanes are very large, so that's not going to move. So the vehicle doesn't move, but the manufacturing facility moves to that vehicle. Now, that process takes a whole lot longer to do, takes a lot more space, therefore will drive up the cost of the vehicle. Hence why helicopters and large commercial airplanes are very expensive and automobiles are fairly cheap. Even though they may use the same types of materials, steel is steel, aluminum is aluminum, plastic is plastic, but how these pieces are assembled onto the vehicle makes all the difference. So you're looking for your next urban air vehicle. How is it going to be made is going to determine how much you pay for it, right? It'll also determine the kind of quality, right, with it. So if it's in the Bay, it may get a little bit more special attention, just like a Rolls Royce. Reason why it's expensive is because of the focus on detail within the process, right? So the vehicle isn't moving. They are constantly working on that vehicle in its place and paying attention to every single detail to provide the best quality to the end consumer. Now, with these urban air vehicles, when it comes to it, in terms of putting them together, the hardware, the propulsion systems, which may come from different places, have to all be assembled somehow, some way, and everything needs to come together in the right manner to provide you the best solutions. And all of that will have a cost to it. Now, one, cost; two, quality. If it's rushed through this process, quality will go down, even though price will go down. Now, if it takes a long time to go through this process, price will go up as well as quality will go up. Now, if you look into some vehicles that are being made, they be maybe handmade or fully automated. I've yet to see a fully automated manufacturing production unit for urban air vehicles, which could drive the price down, but still increase and maintain a level of quality. Things to look forward to when buying your next urban air vehicle. So, look into how they are made. How they are made in comparison to helicopters. I've read a few articles in comparing, one being here, saying that when it comes to these new urban air mobility, urban air vehicles, you have to compare them to what's already existing. And I've heard a few, let's say, analysis on that these new vehicles need to cost substantially less in terms of cost of vehicle as well as operations, need to cost substantially less than helicopters, which already exist. So helicopters can range from 1.5 million to 2.5 million, right? If you were to offer an urban air vehicle to replace that helicopter, they're looking at it to drop a good 80% is what they're predicting will need to be the reduction, right, of the cost of operation and sale of the vehicle just to be able to sway consumers, you, in order to buy an urban air vehicle. Now, that's a lot. So when it comes to producing that vehicle, well, they would have to take certain things into account. A fully automated process, additive manufacturing, cheaper, newer, yet stronger materials. So all of these suppliers will need to have a new innovative solutions about them in order to meet a reduction in cost and an increase in quality. Now that's going to be something difficult to do. So keep an eye out for that whenever you're looking for your next vehicle. So who's flying now? Well, going into this list here in terms of who's flying now, we're going to look into, well, who's supplying some of these components today. So diving into the next image that we have, well, there's quite a few already in the industry who are supplying some of these urban air vehicle components. So not necessarily the vehicle itself, but they are looking at supplying the flight controllers, Honeywell, propulsion systems, Honeywell, Rolls-Royce, providing some, propulsion systems and engines as well as a lot of other companies, as we would see here. And there's a lot. There's quite a few already working in the space. So if you're making an urban air vehicle, you got a lot of people to choose from with different solutions that can be implemented into your product. Now, you can see here it's broken down into different phases or different sections, rather. Energy, propulsion, sensors, actuators, who's going to test it, raw material suppliers are essentially already in play. And you can see a nice little list of them here. BAE Systems already know. They've worked with the DoD a lot. Dale. So there is a X-Wing, right? E-Wing. A lot of companies already there with more being added. Now, all great. And of course, if you're a big company, all of these guys are pretty much already working together. But if you're a small company, startup like we are, Nanco Aero, well, there may just be a few other high quality, innovative startups who are not on this list. So look out for them. Just because these guys exist don't mean that nobody else can come into the space. Now, diving into the next segment here of who is flying now. I caught a video yesterday about a Turkish company who just released their drone, right? Essentially a heavy weight, a heavy carrying drone that, had 100-kilogram payload and could go up to 100 kilometers. Now that's a feat, but have they done it on electric or did they do it on hybrid is the question. So the last video link here is kind of a demonstration that they put on a week ago or a few weeks ago of their newest drone carrying 100 kilograms a long distance. So that's the latest and greatest as of right now of certain companies working on proving out their concepts and an emphasis on long range. Again, long range is going to be a key winner to supplying the best vehicle to the industry. So you'll see here, it's carrying a heavy weight, 100 kilograms, nice and steady, but the goal is to go the distance. Can you take that heavy package? Can you take it not only within the city, but can you take it to another city? These are the feats and the benefits that many companies are trying to solve right now, as well as Nanco Aero. Hence why we go on the hybrid approach, get a little bit more power and we can go the range. So yes, 100 kilometers, we're all for it. Carrying 100 kilograms or more, we are all for it. So kudos to this Turkish company producing a drone to carry some heavy weight and to go a distance. And for what's next, look out for us bringing about our work, our drones, our miniature flying cars here. So yes, of course we're producing, we're working, we're building our product. We still got the small scale. And the next is maiden flights. Just as much as you saw this company just flying, we're getting ours flying too. So in terms of what's next, look out for us getting our baby in the air, people. We're flying, you're flying next. That's all I have today on the Fly Friday 15 Sean Cutter Smooth EP Digital Namco Aero, the future of space in the making. That's all we have today. Stay fly, people. Happy Fly Friday. Peace.